Welcome to Naturally You. I'm Ashley Pappas, a personal trainer turned transformation coach who found it was a lot easier to create outward transformation when there was already a solid foundation within. I am so excited to be here with you today for my 40 to 40 challenge check-in number 2. Actually, that's 4. Check-in number 2. um, yeah, so I actually attempted to do this a little bit earlier today, but I had some audio issues. And so I got finished and realized that there was literally no sound. So here we go, going again. And it appears that the sound is working. So, anyways, I wanted to share with you really quick, and before we get into anything, something really cool that I am working on right now. So I this is one of the prototypes for my new t-shirts, and they will be available here pretty soon. I'm still testing out different vendors to see which styles are best and what the best pricing is, and making sure the materials are good. And man, it's a lot of work, but this one I really love, and I'm excited to have them available here in the near future. So between last week and this week, there's been progress. It hasn't been anything like huge or momentous, and that's okay. When I step on the scale each week, of course, in a fantasy world, it would be nice to step on the scale and be like, "Oh, I'm already halfway to my goal weight. Awesome." But that wouldn't be healthy. It wouldn't be sustainable. And so slow and steady is what I'm going for, and slow and steady is what I'm getting. Hold on a second. Let me pull up where it was last week versus now. Okay, so last week, I believe I checked in on Saturday. So this wasn't exactly a week ago, but I weighed in at 202.17. Now, I was really hoping to get under the 200 mark. That is going to be it's going to be a big victory. And the further away I get from it, the better. But today I weighed in at 201.14. And so a little over a pound lost, like 3/100ths of a pound, more than a pound. But I'm shooting between 1 and 2 pounds a week. I'm right on track. Everything's going very smoothly. There are a few things that I've come to realize over the past week, and like a huge aha moment. So, in the past, when I've tried to lose weight, something, oh, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Um, you were like looking at my nose there. I had the wrong camera on. I apologize. Anywho, something that I have come to realize over the past week is that in the past, when I've lost weight, like probably when I tried like maybe 20 years ago, it always would look like I'd make a decision and I would do a complete 180 in the way that I ate. But then I'd go into the gym or I would work out at home and I would go balls to the wall. And I found that, I do that for a span of time and, stuff would start falling off right away, but then it would level out and the progress wouldn't be as fast and I'd lose motivation because I wasn't seeing the instant results and I would backslide and usually give up and end up probably taking back all of that weight and then maybe like a few pounds on top of that. And when I went and lost over 100 pounds, it wasn't like that. Like I didn't focus on exercise at all. I was getting activity every day, but there was no component initially that had to do anything with exercise. I completely focused on my eating, on listening to my body, making sure that I was tracking everything and making little swaps in my day-to-day life. Like, instead of running through fast food, going to the convenience store and grabbing an apple. and stuff like that. And I kind of realized this week that that's been kind of throughout my life, other than when I lost the 100 pounds, it had been a common theme where I would just automatically just 180 everything upside down, throw a ton of exercise on top of it. Ever since, I was 12, rollerblading to the YMCA, like I always attached exercise with weight loss. And the thing that made it so effective when I lost 100 pounds and the thing that's making it effective now is that I'm still exercising. I'm still being active. I'm just not attaching that to that weight loss ideal in my mind, if that makes sense. So it makes a big difference. It's just like a tiny, tiny little mindset tweak, but it really has shifted a lot because what I realized is that when I add in all that exercise and I actually attach it in my mind to the weight loss, then I will reward myself with food, for lack of a better way of putting it. Obviously you're expending more energy, and so your intake needs will slightly increase, not in a huge way. And I had been, going off of like what my Apple Watch said or what back in the day, what my Body Bug said, um, what the cardio machine said, like whatever it may be. I'd go off of those estimates. But the thing is, not everybody metabolizes energy the same. And I fought it for many years, but my metabolism when it comes to like exercise, I'm really efficient. I don't burn as many calories as the estimates say because, theoretically, energy in, energy out. And if we go by the estimates, it should still be a pretty easy math equation. But the thing is that I was completely overestimating how much energy I was really expelling, even though it might say on the machine or even though it might say on my watch or someplace else that I was expelling that much energy. It really wasn't true because the thing is that if there's an energy deficit, your body will change um, as long as everything else is pretty much in homeostasis, like as much as possible. And so like that's why after I had my hysterectomy, I wanted to wait a year before even attempting to lose the weight that I had put on because I knew that instant menopause, first of all, a whole new can of worms, but also that means that my entire body chemistry had changed since when I had lost the weight before. And it's going to take, it's been pretty, and I don't want to jinx it, it's been pretty smooth sailing so far. Like everything has seemed to progress kind of as anticipated. But I am not going into this blind. I know that there's the possibility that it could, there might be a plateau or there could even be, a gain that logically, if you crunch all the numbers, it's like, whoa, how did that happen? But our bodies, they are a mysterious being. So we'll roll with the punches as they come. Along those lines, I wanted to show you, just to kind of give you an idea of, it's not linear. It's like the cha-cha. We go forward, we go back. And if we get discouraged when we see that little like bump back, then all the effort we've put, if we let that discouragement take hold and completely take us out of the game, like all of that effort's lost. So it's important to remember this. Like I'm going to show you just the past month on my thing. So I don't know if it's going to actually, there we go. So there's that little graph there. And I don't know if you can see right there, there's that little jump up. Like that jumped that jumped almost up to like where I started. And I saw that, and yes, and I admit I'm weighing myself probably more than I should. Not perfect. But I saw that jump up and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, what's happening?" Like, dude, I was bloated. My stomach was kind of full, like our bodies are constantly changing and there's going to be fluctuations like that. And as you can see, it just immediately dropped back off. That's not always the case, like the immediate drop off, but if you're doing if you're sticking to the plan, if you're staying on course, that's usually what happens. If not immediately, it does. And so just something to keep in mind. So far, so good. There haven't been a whole lot of challenges, and I am beyond grateful because right now I'm going through some stuff in my personal life where in the past I would very much be tempted to eat emotionally, and it hasn't been an issue. I think that giving up sugar shortly after starting this has kind of helped because I don't have any like huge fluctuations in my blood sugar, and I'm kind of a sugar, I eat sugar and I crave more. So I think that that's helped, and just having the other tools at hand, being able to really process and deal with the emotions instead of trying to eat them. Because I will be the first to say that, eating mindlessly is like the perfect meditation. It is the most unhealthy way to meditate, but it is the perfect meditation because, you're in the zone, you're getting your brain's like lighting up because it's getting all this reward and you're getting bringing all these chemicals in your body. And it's just, it's that false sense of happiness or contentment in the moment. And then um, shortly after, it's followed by regret. So I'm really grateful that I have been pretty non-eventful. One thing that I have been doing that's kind of cool, me and my daughter have started looking at dinners for the week. And I want to preface with this with saying that back before me and my husband got together, I was meal prepping every week, like probably 1 a.m. in the morning on Monday mornings after I'd get off work, and I'd come home or I'd be at home and I'd go and I'd grill chicken and I'd like prepare all of these meals for the entire week, like mix and match meals. And so like, I'd have 3 dishes that use the chicken or the ground beef or the tofu, and then maybe I'd make rice, and that rice would go into like a few different dishes. And so it was kind of really neat the way that I had the system running. But not quite back there yet. But we have started sitting down and figuring out what we were going to eat for the week for dinners. And so that has been neat. I will tell on myself. I was supposed to make dinner tonight, but I got caught up in work, so we had to flip flop some of the days. But it's progress, not perfection, right? And the whole point of this is I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing and what I'm not doing right. So, um, yeah, it's been a good deal so far. I'm so happy to be sharing this with you. And if you're not familiar with what the 40 to 40 challenge is, a couple years ago, I put on some weight after having to do hormone therapy, trying to avoid having surgery. And I ended up having to have the surgery anyways, which meant that I wanted to let my body heal instead of tackling the added weight immediately. And here we are. I don't want to go into my 40s with it. I want to leave that crap back in my 30s. So I turned 40 in September, and about a month, maybe like 3 weeks ago, I made the decision that I was going to lose 40 pounds by my 40th birthday. You're absolutely wet, right? Yeah. Excuse me. I think I just tripped on my words. Um, you're absolutely welcome to join me in this. Like, if you want to, it doesn't even have to be weight loss. If there's just anything that you want to leave behind, you know, um, feel free to let me know in the comments what it is. And then every Friday when I check in, just check in yourself and say like, hey, this is how I'm doing. This is my 40 to 40. And we can hold each other accountable. I am so happy to be sharing this journey with you, even though it's as uncomfortable as all get out. I'm really happy to be able to share this. So I hope that you have a great weekend. I will see you next Friday And until then, don't be afraid to be naturally you. I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, it's the awkward moment before I hit finish.